Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Bernina Line stream. I'm very excited because it's Swiss content. Why wouldn't I be excited? How are we all doing, chat? I'm joined tonight by Alex and Jasper. Say hello.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the stream. So tonight we are, of course, previewing the Berninalinie Tirano to Ospizio Bernina. It's the Swiss route with the Italy border crossing. Now, let's get a bit of admin done just before we dive in. This is available for pre-order now on Steam. So if you are interested, go check it out on the Steam store page. And if you want to know a few more details about the route, go into the YouTube video description and we have our link to our coming soon article. You can also find it on our forums and on our Dovetail Live page as well. But yes, we're joined here today with Jasper. So Jasper, feel free to welcome yourself onto the stream. Thank you for joining us for this as well.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be back, and yeah, really looking forward to tonight's stream and finally being able to show off what we've been working on for so long, and yeah, just let people see what Bernina is about, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, do let us know the mics and our audio is okay. I've seen a couple mentions of Jamie, your mic
Yeah, I think that
might
might
need
have been I
adjustments.
pressed the wrong button, so it was coming through my rather than through wherever that there. But yeah, never mind. I can't point. while looking at
Classic
it.
audio things. Let us know though, because we'll be reading the chat as well. Just before we dive in, and I pass to Jamie, let me do a little overview of what you can expect tonight. So we're going to be starting, instead of going Tirano to Ospizio Bernina, we're going to be starting at the top from Ospizio Bernina down to Tirano, and we're going to be starting with some clear daytime, clear skies, so we can showcase the wonderful scenery of the route, and then we're going to be starting back up at Ospizio as well to showcase the snowy scenery. So there's kind of the contrast there as well, and then we'll move back down to Tirano. We'll have a nighttime showcase, and we'll also have a little bit of free roam to show the dual voltage as well. But yeah, you're stuck with us for the next hour or so. Let's get in. Jamie, I believe before we start, we have a little bit of an auto announcement to listen out for.
Yes, we do. So what we'll do is we'll go in, and it's quite interesting because the auto announces in 3 languages. I think it's probably one of the only ones in the world that probably has 3 languages. So yes, what we will do is I will go over to this screen here. You should be able to hear me a little bit better now. Probably my audio. Sorry about that. So we're going to run this service. So we're going to run R4613, which is an 838 service. We're going to run it in July in clear, just to make sure it's lovely and sunny. And let's get in. And I will then shut up so you can hear the audio. It's taking a little while. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Here we go. Right. So yes, we've only got the Allegra on. We've got which is 112.7 tons, 3 cars and 49.8 meters. So yes, let's get in. And you ready for the audio announcements? Here we go.
Allegra, liebe Fahrgäste. Das Zugteam der Rhätischen Bahn begrüßt Sie im Regionalzug nach Grüm, Cavalia, Poschiavo, Le Prese, Miralago, Brusio, Campascio, Campo Cologno, Tirano und wünscht eine angenehme Reise. Bei Fragen stehen wir Ihnen gerne zur Verfügung.
Allegra, signore e signori, il personale di bordo della ferrovia retica vi dà il benvenuto a bordo del nostro Reggio servizio per Grüm, Cavagila, Poschiavo, Le Prese, Miralago, Brusio, Campascio, Campo Cologno, Tirano e vi augura buon viaggio. In caso di domande, riferitevi al personale di bordo.
Allegra, ladies and gentlemen, the train crew
of the Rhaetian Railway welcomes you on board our Regio service to Grüm, Cavaglia, Poschiavo, Le Prese, Miralago, Brusio, Campascio, Campo Cologno, Tirano, and wishes you a pleasant journey. If you have any questions, the train crew will be happy to answer them for you.
There we have it. There we are. So that's in the 3 languages, which is pretty awesome, I must admit. So what I was doing there, I was just setting the cab up, so I was just putting the reverser in, key in, setting my cruise control, so that's set at a reasonable speed, and I've just opened the window so we can get noises, and I've also put the rear view mirrors on, which you can do from here. Like this is quite cool. There you go, look at that. Because obviously some of these trains don't have guards, so they use this so they can see. What we'll do is we'll go and have a quick look outside. I know we might be a little bit late, but hey ho. Ta-da!
I'll tell you what, the automatic announcements, they're good for learning how to pronounce all the stations as well, because actually it reads it in the different languages, so you can make sure you're getting it right, which is useful.
That's very true. Italian is probably the most helpful because, yeah, some stations do sound a little different there.
Yeah, they do. But yes, this is Ospizio Bernina. We've got to put a poster up. Ta-da! Oh, hello. Standing in the way, mate. There we go, look at that. And oh, hello, here's one of the other collectibles. Look at this, look. So we've got a little hat here, and these are the bells. So these, I'm not sure if these ones are operational, but there's definitely some stations that they are operational. So one bell is for the up train, one bell is for the down train, and there's slightly different tones. Hello. Sorry, my keyboard's having a... There we go. Swiss hats. Oh, hello, I'm getting hungry. Well, let's go and get some... Oh, it's already been eaten. Never mind. So, and yes, and here is the mountain range. This is actually a location I've been to. And we were trying to work out, we think, Alex, we think this is the highest station in TSW, correct?
Yes, I believe so, and I think the height we have it at is 2,200 meters, 2,253 meters, or if you work in feet, 7,392. So, wow, yeah, we're looking at a very high height from sea level, and it's quite a climb because I believe down by Tirano it is only maybe 400 to 600 meters. I didn't brush myself up on the lowest part, but it's quite a climb of at least over 1,000 meters.
Yeah, there's some distance to be covered. And also, fun story, Ospizio is the highest station on the entire Bernina network.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just
that's
to
something
quickly show you in
good to
here
know.
as well. So you've got your little first class section through here. And then you've got the little boards as well, which tell you the timings. We're going to be late anyway, but hey ho. And you've got the different heights as well. So you can see that we go up and down between the different heights. So this is for the disabled sections.
Yeah.
And also,
Jamie, I think we've got a perfect opportunity for you to talk about the sign on the station, because we've already had someone saying it's 2256 meters, but
yes.
I believe you have a good...
Yes, so as we're walking through here, so interestingly, you'll probably look at the station sign and go, hold on a minute, it says 2256, and not, what was the other one, 2253, was it?
Yes, 3 meters.
So, a little interesting fact, the... before they got UNESCO World Heritage, the RhB decided that they wanted to re-measure everything, including all the heights of the bridges, all the viaducts, everything. And it turned out that 2256 was actually incorrect. It was 2253. So it was all the heights, all the original heights that you see on the station signs, a lot of them, the original ones, are all incorrect. There was a lot of adjusting, so it was actually an interesting thing, because there was I remember we were doing some maps and we had to try and find out what was actually accurate, whether it was 2253 or 2256. So yes, now you know that it's a different height. Actually, I know some people have said about Matt. Matt is on holiday. He's having a long break, isn't he? So you got me driving tonight. Don't worry, I've got cruise control, so we won't break anything, I hope.
Yeah. Well, it's also good to know that, Jamie, you've been here in real life as well. You've actually visited this railway and been on it.
I have indeed. So I've run from here to Grüm. I came from St Moritz, but I haven't been any further down than Grüm. That's another one I need to do, but we will get there eventually. But yes, I know this route quite well. I've been playing it a lot. So yeah. Let's get going. I'll just stay quiet so we can get some traction sound. Go. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't turned the headlights on. Well spotted.
So while we're starting off here, I'll do a little bit extra admin as well. For those of you who love the data, the numbers, and knowing all the information, again, you can read this in our articles. But the route length is 38 kilometers, and again, that's between Ospizio, Bernina in Switzerland and Tirano in Italy, past the border crossing. There are 12 stations, and the rolling stock included is obviously what you're seeing here is the RhB ABe 812 Allegra EMU, but also there are the EW1 A and B coaches, the RhB ZA tank wagon, which is new, and the RhB SPW timber wagon as well. There are a set of scenarios. If you want more details on the scenarios, again, I'd check out the coming soon article in the description of the video. But there is a festive scenario as well, delivering presents. So I know we just passed Christmas time, but if you're in the festive mood still, don't worry, because there is a festive scenario that you can kind of check off your list there as well. Can we talk about the mastery, please? I think it must be discussed.
We definitely can, yeah. So there's a bit of a fun story. I don't think we're going to see it tonight, but it's down at Glacier station, because there's a rather large plateau where they can actually fly around with helicopters, and the scene you're going to see is a cow hanging off of a helicopter, which might sound ridiculous, but actually isn't that much, because if a cow or any animal up there is really sick, it's probably taking way too long to get a transport from up in the mountains down to the valley to see a doctor. And so what they do is they sometimes take a helicopter and then just strap the cow to a large rope and fly it down the mountains, which seems really ridiculous, but is actually the way to go. So
if I saw a cow flying underneath the helicopter again, that might be a bucket list goal for me, because that to me just sounds amazing.
It's just really random, but if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. So yeah.
Interesting thing from chat while we're going along here as well. So where are the trees? Interesting question. Actually, if you look at real-life photo references around this area, there typically aren't many trees. There might be maybe the occasional one or two scattered, but generally this area is quite mountainous, quite rocky, and quite untree friendly. Obviously, there are more trees further down the route. It isn't a treeless route. You'll find it more towards the kind of city streets and lower down the mountains and kind of in the distant mountain scenery. But right up at Ospizio, it's a bit barren, because it is a bit barren. And you can kind of look that up.
You got to remember, we are 7,000 feet up in the air. You know, if you can imagine, sort of some of the ski places. You know, they will be very barren. And as I say, I have been here, and there isn't much up here at all. And in winter,
I'm sorry for the thing that we just went through, because it seems to be just at a really random place. This kind of man-made tunnel.
Yes.
They actually built these for to make the railroads safe from the amounts of snow that are up there in the winter, and so to make it easier to keep the tracks clear, they built these shelters from time to time. So you'll see more of them, more not as freestanding as this one, but kind of tuck into the mountains. So I think after this tunnel we're about to be in one of those, so you can see what they look like for most of the route. But it's basically just to keep the tracks safe from snow. Yeah, and as the chat mentioned, it's above tree line, which is the main reason for not having trees up in that height. And that's actually just very normal thing. Yeah, so this is what I talked about.
It's an interesting question, Jasper, that I don't know if you can answer on the fly, but the auto announcements, can they actually be set to play in only a specific single language, or will it be set for the 3 automatically?
Good question. No, they're set to be in 3 languages. You can't set them to be just one. That's just how it is in real life. Because we're going to cross the Italian border, so German and Italian is a logical choice, and then just to make it available for as many people as possible, they added the English as well. So yeah, short answer, no, it's always going to be 3 languages. But interesting about the auto announcement is that it's not just announcing stations, but also announcing points of interest along the route that you might miss otherwise. Or just giving a little bit of background to the route in general.
We're now coming up to a very scenic part as we speak.
Oh yeah.
We're looking up at the Glacier now, aren't we? Up here?
Yeah, so that's the Palu Glacier. And yeah, that's going to be there for every season, so that's there in summer and winter. Yeah, just very impressive looking to the top of that. We're going to have an even nicer view from Grüm Station. They have a cafe there which just has the most insane place to drink a cup of tea, I think.
Yeah, it's
so
quite
really
crazy.
cool.
I must admit, I've been there, and you think you're like on the edge of the universe. It's just,
Yeah.
it's quite an amazing place. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really crazy.
Yeah, I saw a mention of it, Simon, GoPro videos. 7% drop, that is right. This route features the steepest gradient in all of TSW. I don't know where it holds in the world standings, but it's certainly up there.
So it's quite steep because one thing I was going to mention, that the Bernina Line was built, basically the Swiss calculated how much an adhesion train with a certain amount of weight could carry within that sort of distance. And that's one of the things that they've done. They found that an adhesion train of 7% with a certain amount of load could pull a train of this length, and that's how the RhB was all built, including the Arosa Line. I think with the Albula it was done with steam, so they knew that under certain conditions what would a steam loco do in these certain conditions.
It's absolutely incredible. Like figuring out the exact amount they would be able to do. Incredible. The 7% is seriously. I mean, even some of the steeper routes that I've been on in other TSW, sometimes you go on 2.5 to 3%, and it's quite a thrill. But 7%.
That's really steep, yeah. It's definitely up on the top. Well, I would say list of 10, it's in the top 10, 15. I've not counted it yet, but just had to look it up. But yeah, 7% is even a little bit steeper than the 6% we had on the Arosa Line. Yeah, and considering that, it's even more impressive that an EMU is hauling this, and even though this is a service where there are no wagons attached, you can see these hauling up to, I think, 6 or 7 wagons. So they are really, really powerful, which is the reason why you'll often see these, just hauling wagons. Yeah, so this is the station that we talked about with the crazy balcony on the backside, where you can sit and enjoy the view.
And that is the view. Look at that. Spectacular. I've actually walked up here to go and get a picture, and you can stand on where that little house, I think it's a hotel at the top here, and you can look down and watch the train go from here. There's a passing place further down, but you can look all the way down here, and there's a train that will follow all the way up, which is quite amazing. And then over here, oh yeah, you can have your photograph taken there. There we go. And here is the mad balcony, which you can sit on over here. There's a Swiss hat actually, and have a look at the glacier over there, and the train's coming up from over here. Look, there we go. It's quite an amazing place.
Yeah, fun story about this place. If you see that little walkway that goes down the hill, you can actually walk down there to the next passing loop, That's a little thing that we added in, so you can actually just
so
walk
you can
down
actually
there
walk
past them.
yourself, so you can actually get off the train.
Yeah.
And go down. Wow, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Love things like
it's
that.
just a small touch we've added. Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
And yes, the player can walk onto the balcony.
Oh, that was
I mean,
close.
with a view that good, how could you resist?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jamie, just to cool it out, we've had requests for the horn. So why don't we get another horn in when we can?
It's actually not a horn, it's a whistle to be exact. There's a reason for that, because with the avalanches that might happen in winter, you don't want to have a horn because that might trigger these avalanches to go off, and the whistle apparently isn't. Don't ask me for physical insights on that, I don't know these, but yeah, that's the reason why they use a whistle rather than a horn.
You know what, my mistake there led to a really interesting fact, so you're welcome everyone, and I can be a little bit less red.
And also interesting, notice how close the tracks are together. Because obviously it's a ridge. They, rather than joining it here, they actually joined it all the way round, all the way round. This is actually in real life. And then it comes out a little bit here to go into here. It's really interesting. It's not a fault, that is actually how it is in real life.
Yeah. But to be honest, when I saw the route for the first time in game, I was going like, oh, this looks weird, and then just looked it up what it is in real life and figured, yeah, okay, that makes sense then.
Seems Daytona says low sound carries and reverberates more, which could be why it would affect the environment and the avalanches. So we will take a look at the scenery with snow on it. And for anyone joining us in the last maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so, we are on the Berninalinie preview. It's Berninalinie Tirano to Ospizio Bernina. And if you want to pre-order it, you can right now. It is €35.99, €29.99 Great British pounds, $39.99, and you can get a 10% discount if you pre-order on Steam. Any more information you want, including services, what's included with the pack, check out the coming soon article in the description.
Good question about the Allegra layering to Arosa or not. It technically can. We'll speak about this more later when we show off the Allegra, because it has the dual voltage system. So for anyone not knowing, Bernina Line has a different electrification system than what we have on Arosa. So that's the reason why we can't bring the loco from Arosa over to here and have it run on here. That would spark a fire, literally. Yeah, but the Allegra isn't running on the Arosa timetable because that one is already really crowded, and yeah, we weren't able to get it in there. But what you can do is just spawn and free roam, place an Allegra and drive up there or down there, however you like. So that's definitely a thing.
And that we will have a showcase of that a little bit after we've done our run of the line here tonight. So we will be showing the Allegra on Arosa Line with the dual voltage.
Yeah, and interesting. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, just interesting to know that these systems are actually fully simulated. So you have an AC and a DC system, and if you take care of, or just look closely, you'll notice that the train actually behaves different because there's a different physics setup for the AC system, just as it is in real life.
It seems to have more grunt on the AC, I must admit. On the AC, if you're running sort of like these are doing sort of almost 50-60 kilometers an hour sometimes on some of the parts of.
Yeah.
I
These
think
can
there is
go up
safety
to
system. People, a lot of chat are asking about safety system. I haven't turned them on purely because you know what I'm like with safety systems. I decided not to turn them on just to show we can relaxingly run the route.
Yeah, we're having a nice calm preview here.
Yes, yeah.
But that's actually a cool thing to note, because the safety system is now a core game feature. So we implemented SiSte and what's the name of the other one? Oh, that's not good. what's the name for that? SiSte is the Vigilance system, and the other one is.
Quick quiz question for the audience.
Oh, I've forgotten what it's. Yeah, it's called. Just got to keep an eye on the signals.
Anyway, ZS,
ZS,
true.
is it
Yeah.
ZS or something?
Thank you. Yeah, it's ZS.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's now in core game, so meaning that it's not just available on this route, but available on any other. So if you go into Places Train on Arosa, for example, it worked there as well. And it ties in with all the other safety systems and gives you extra points and that kind of stuff if you're into it. On the EW1 cab car, it's just they're not using it on this route as far as I'm aware, so there's no need to have that one.
What am I waiting for? Am I waiting for a service to come up?
It's actually
The Arosa.
Oh, sorry. Yes, there you go.
The Arosa ZS90 implementation is still there, and it will be used if you drive with the GE442 on it. So that will be used then. But if you place the Allegra on it, that will be used.
So a couple of things we can mention as well. So while we were looking for the service we wanted to pick, a lot of the services are. What was the quickest service, Jamie, you found? I think was an hour and 25 from Tirano up to Ospizio,
Yes.
Bernina. And I believe the average time was about an hour and 40 coming down. And part of that reason is because of needing to stop, I believe, like we are at the moment for other services. So.
Yeah, there's. I think that's one. Yeah, that's one with EW1 coaches attached to it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've probably seen it in its entirety by now. Just to know we're, seeing it with a slight delay. So that might be why I explain things in a weird way.
It's also good to talk about, so we did have our Q&A thread, and we do have some of the questions we want to talk about as we go through the stream. Let's talk about the audio sourcing. So Jasper, I believe the Allegra or the audio source is from the real train.
Yes, more than happy to talk about that one, yeah. So we went out to survey this train and the route in its entirety, and that's when we picked up sound for the Allegra as well, so yeah, that's sourced from the real train.
Which is always good to know. Of course, real life reference gathering where possible is obviously the best with audio.
Yeah.
And just for the pictures as well for the modeling teams. If you want to know more a bit about gathering reference photos as well, we do have a couple dives in our Dovetail Live site of how our team go and do it. We specifically have a lot of them for Antelope Valley because we had like a massive data collection when we went out to get references for those locals as well. But yeah. So thank you for asking that question as well. We will be answering some of the questions as we go through, but feel free if you have any questions to leave them in the chat as well.
Actually, I just remembered there was a question about the high speed that you can go with this train on the route. It's 60 kilometers. There's a brief section at Cavagia, I believe, and then further down, where you, basically a tram for some sections. You can go up to 60. Oh, and on the tutorials, they won't be on the training center because there isn't a narrow gauge section, I believe. So they are done on the Bernina Line. Anything else just would look weird.
So this is Grüm up here. And you can see this is us looping back and forth to get the height. You can see this we'll be doing it again. So this is Ospizio up here. This is Tirano all the way down here.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on John.
So why don't we talk a little bit about generally this section of route, and kind of like why we wanted to, or why the Rivet team wanted to select this section of routes and kind of highlight the certain unique scenery elements. So we've already passed the Glacier and our Grüm, but Jasper, do you want to dive a little bit more into that, especially going towards the border crossing to Italy as well?
Sure, yeah. So this is one of the most asked questions on this route. So we basically start in Tirano and then go up, visiting a few of the main things along the Bernina Line, such as the tram section in the lower end, which is pretty exciting. And then we get the Brusio Viaduct and the large lakes along the way. And then from Poschiavo up, we're just really starting to gain height with all the going back and forth that Jamie just showed. And yeah, as you've seen, or as we said, going up that route is taking you about 1.5 hours. So that's a pretty good length, and we feel like this is the more interesting part of the entire route. So that's one of the main reasons why we opted to go with this. Yeah, it's probably something that I forgot just now, but we'll definitely add later. Yeah.
That's what I like doing. Yeah, so as you can see, I mean, it's quite a simplistic loco to drive. It's a bit different to the G442. Because you've got this cruise control, you can really easily set it and just enjoy the scenery. Or if you want more of a complex drive, then you can obviously have a go at driving more manually. But this is how obviously they would use it in real life. Loco motors would be doing the manual braking. Doing well. As you can see, we've now come back nearly to all the loop sections now. We're running down. So we see a 7% grade at the moment.
I do see there are a lot of various questions about future routes as well. There is a lot more information that we would like to share in February, with the roadmap, and there's not much more we can announce as of right now out of anything that is already on the roadmap. Assume no other plans until you hear more from us. So we do have an update coming shortly, so expect it kind of early February time, and yeah.
On the AFB system, or the cruise control that Jamie was just referring to, that one is automatically activated. You can't deactivate that, but what you can do is just set it to a higher speed than what you are allowed to drive, and then just brake yourself. So yeah, you've got a little bit more to do then. And actually, because of the question, how is he going downhill without using brakes and not speeding? The train is using electric brakes, so it's basically just reversing the electrification of the motors. Yeah, and sort of using it as a dynamic brake. And because that becomes ineffective at below 10 kilometers an hour or something like that, you still have a full vacuum brake that kicks in, and you can use that as well. Oh, it's not kicking in automatically.
I'm learning so much from these facts and bits, because actually that was a question I had for me personally as well. So it's again, thank you for the insight. It's really good to share.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things, because you can imagine, if you were using air brakes on this, like learn about the American air brakes. It's a lot of wear and tear on the brakes. So if you're having an electric motor to be able to brake, it's just going to make the train a lot more efficient as well.
Yeah, and especially because it's feeding energy back into the system. That's just, yeah.
It's producing its own power.
Exactly, yeah.
We've just seen a mention of, can we show it off in the snow? Of course, what would it be? A Bernina Line showcase without showing the snow? We will be doing that. For us at the moment, it's better to showcase it in the broad sunny summer daylight, just to really give good clarity for everything on the stream, as well as the route. But we will be showing a short bit from Ospizio Bernina to about Grüm, so we can look at the glacier and look over that awesome viewpoint as well. We'll do that in the snow. So I believe we'll head now to Poschiavo, the station, and then we'll go back. We'll start up again back at the top, switch it to snow, and then we'll dive into Tirano as well. So as a rough kind of schedule of what you can expect, and then after we've done kind of the route line showcase, we'll dive into the other bits, such as showing the dual voltage and free roam, a little bit of look at nighttime, and we will do a little bit on the observational coach as well that comes with the RhB Anniversary Pack 2. So yeah, don't worry, if you're looking out for the snow, we'll get there.
You can see how much height we've come down. So you can see those two little buildings that I was saying about the hotel, and the curve there. That's how far we've actually come down, which is quite incredible.
Yeah, that is actually really awesome to see visually.
Yeah. And we're on time, amazingly.
There's been a good question about the auto announcements and if they are from the real one. They are aimed at the real one, which has some technical reasons. For example, there's one station where in real life it would announce that you can only get off to the left or the right side, but that changes on what platform you arrive at. And so because we can't figure out what platform it is as of right now, or where the platform is, that one is, yeah, just having a simplified approach. So just saying, if you get off the train, please be careful. So it's not mentioning the side of the road. So this is a good example for the simplifications that we've done. And then these have been recorded in-house, just because, yeah, the real ones require license. And yeah, we've not been able to get that one.
Very similar though. I thought they were. But
yeah,
it's very close.
Yeah, they are just, yeah, wherever we could, we used the real world example and then just re-recorded it.
We'll just take a little peek at our route map for Bernina Line, which you can again find in our coming soon article if you'd like. But when we arrive in Poschiavo, we would have descended about 1,200 meters. And it does descend all the way down in Tirano to about 400 meters. So quite the descent. I believe that's a total climb of again about 1,800 meters. So I don't quite know what that is in feet, but maybe about 5,000 feet. So again, very hilly and very mountainous. And Jamie, it was really good for you to point out exactly where we had climbed down from, because that's really nice and visual to see. So.
Yeah. That's a cool question I would like to ask. Sorry.
No, it's alright. No, I was just saying you can see that how, we've now got to drop, if I now show you on the map. So we've got to drop into a valley, and we've got to go up and by the side of the mountain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get to the next location, which is, as the bird flies, 3.7 miles. But we've got to turn back on ourselves more than once to try and reduce the height. So this was the way that they did it rather than using rack and pinion. If it was rack and pinion, you'd probably be able to get up that mountain. No problems at all, but obviously they wanted to use adhesion, so this is the way they did it.
And yes, it is a bit of a roller coaster, that is right.
Yeah, it is,
I suppose it's a way of putting it.
There was a cool question from David that I wanted to get back to, and it was like, what are you and the team most proud of in this route? I think there are a couple of things. It's hard to pin down to one thing exactly. For one, the Allegra, to be honest, because we feel like it's quite a good train, and featuring both of the voltage system, that's quite cool, especially because you can actually use it on the Arosa Line and the Bernina. And then definitely the scenery as it is, because if you know Arosa, you've seen that we've not quite did justice to the mountains. We feel like the Bernina Line is definitely looking way better, because we were able to use that new LiDAR data that Trains in World 4 enables us to use. and we then created our own landscape material just to make sure it looks as good as possible in any situation, including the snow, including autumn, including just the rocky season, the rocky parts up top, and then just the more grass covered bits further down the route. And then I think the section up top around Grüm and Ospizio Bernina are just the most visually stunning parts of this route, and we're super happy and really proud of them. So yeah, thanks a lot for that question. That was really cool.
No, Lando, it does have a lavatory, but I don't think the door opens.
Nope.
That's got to be the most requested feature that I actually, one of the most requested features I see quite a lot. It doesn't the toilet door open. That must be the day it does will be a good day.
Yeah, could you imagine if we had like scenarios where you've got to use the loo and you have to do it in a certain amount of time, and if he gets, that would be quite funny.
The true guard mode scenario.
Yeah. Get the person out of the toilets.
The route is affiliated in or set in as of right now. So you'll see, especially at Poschiavo, there's a section that hasn't been there for, I think that is there since 2 or 3 years, something like that. It's fairly new, so you'll see that being in, and then the timetable is based on the one it is right now. As the summer timetable, if someone's interested in that, which is basically it's basically the same as the winter one. The timings for the Bernina Express trains are different, and I think there are just 2 in the winter and 3 in summer.
But they have. I think they've recently changed the timetables, haven't they? Because I know I'm not sure. Well, the Capricorns won't run this way, but I know they've done a major timetable change. The RhB just recently.
Okay.
But I think this is probably before the timetable change.
I think so, yes. Yeah.
There you go, look. So we went through there and we're now there. There you go. And we've got to go all the way
question
in that
I'll pass to you. To you, Jasper. Sorry, Jamie.
No,
when you have the trains with the observational cars, are they any longer? Or do they substitute out a coach for one of those observational cars?
Oh, you put me in a spot there.
Sorry.
I'm not sure, to be honest. No, it's all good. I would imagine it's 3 EW1 coaches, and 2 EW1 and 1 observation car if you own the anniversary pack. But that's just on the BEX services. And in general, yes, there are longer services than this one. There's a variety of ones. Some have 3W EW1 coaches, some have the oil tankers attached to the back, so yeah, there's a variety of things you can see.
Yeah, and for reference, the observational coach is the one that layers in with the RhB anniversary pack, which is a separate add-on. But it comes in with the 3 Bernina Express BEX services. Again, if you want a little bit more information on that, it's worth checking out the article, the coming soon article in the description. I wonder how many times I say that, but there's a really detailed coming soon article in the description. So, and it's also on our forums on our Dovetail Live site. So if you want any more information, it's probably your best port of call.
You need that on repeat. You need that like on a button that you can press, so you just haven't got to say it and you just re-record yourself and press the button.
We put it as an auto announcement in 3 different languages.
Yeah. Actually, have we had the announcement before coming into Cavaglia? Jamie? Was that one there?
You, Jamie.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah. Well, was there the announcement before coming down into Cavaglia?
Yes, I did hear it, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
No, it's worth clarifying. So to Raw there, ROHR to be sure, the observational coach layers in from the RhB anniversary pack. It is not included with Bernina Line on its own. Worth making that very clear. But if you do get it, it will layer in with the Bernina Express services, and we'll showcase this later on.
on the why we are only previewing down to Poschiavo, we'll run up from Tirano as well to as far as we get. So we're aiming at showing off as much as we can.
Yeah, we intend to showcase quite a lot. I mean, as we mentioned before, a single run of the route from Ospizio, Bernina, down to Tirano is 1 hour and 46 minutes. And then we also want to showcase nighttime, the observational coach, and free roam as well. So we'll showcase as much as we can. But a lot of the key POIs, the key things we want to look out for, such as the Glacier at Grüm, we will be making sure we point out as we go. And it's also worth noting as well that on Monday next week, this will release on Tuesday, January 16th, which is next week. But on Monday, the 15th, we will have our ambassadors. They will be able to showcase some early access footage as well prior to the release. So you will be able to capture loads of different viewpoints in many different languages as well. So if you are interested in seeing more of the routes and more of the content, you should be able to find your content creators that you follow, or you're interested in creating different spotlights of the route as well.
Yeah.
A lot of red coming up, I did see it. Oh no, we're right.
That's a good question. Why are the signals just grey in your HUD?
Oh yeah, because I forgot to turn it back on, that's fine.
Okay.
It's alright.
That's a setting you can set.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let's do that now.
No, Jamie doesn't have the safety systems on. Yeah, shame on him. Fairly
Shame on
easy.
him.
Oh, everybody's having a go at me now.
Sorry about
that. Controls, HUD. Here we go. Next signal aspect on. There we go. I can see now. There we go.
This line is equipped with the ZS system, and we also have the SiSte, which is basically a vigilance system on this train. So one vigilance and one safety system.
So we're
And
going
as
all
I
the way
pointed
down.
out before, they're now in core. So if you're into scoring points with the safety systems enabled, that's working as well with this route.
Lovely jubbly.
Yep, yep.
Let's keep everyone on our plan who is aware and watching. So we're about 2 kilometers away now. I'm guessing that's as the crow flies.
It is
to
indeed, yeah.
Poschiavo, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously take that in mind as we're still descending here on our 7% gradient. But once we reach that, we'll stop, and then we'll rewind time all the way back up to a wintry day full of snow, and we'll showcase the scenery covered in snow before starting over at Tirano and working our way up instead. So that should be good. And then from there, again, we'll do nighttime showcase, observational coach, free roam, dual voltage. Don't worry, stick around. You've got more to enjoy from us tonight.
So you can see now we've now gone the other way round, so we're now heading away from where we're aiming to. So you can actually see that's where the line is there, so that's where actually we're going to, which is quite... Hello, I'm falling. I thought I wasn't.
A good question on the safety systems. ZS is a lot easier than PZB, so you don't have to learn a new complex system. There's a good explanation in the manual that will be available at launch, but it's more like AWS. It's basically you have to confirm whenever there's a danger aspect on the signals, and it just beeps a couple of times at you, just reminding you that you're driving under the danger aspect. But yeah, you don't have to calculate any brake curves or anything like that. So it's a lot simpler.
It's good to know there's a manual at launch as well. So that's another question answered. 2 in 1. I did want to mention actually. Jamie, it's a good question that maybe you can answer if you'd like, but it's to do with the service count, and Jasper, you can jump in if you feel free as well.
Yeah.
But the I believe when we talk about service count actually and talk about the timetable, again in real life there is only 1 train per hour in each direction. And again, these are quite long services as well, as we talked about an hour and a half average between going up or going down.
Yeah.
And so that kind of plays into what the timetable is as well.
Yeah, it's not a very busy route. You can imagine it's a single line section. Think of Arosa, because I think Arosa had an hourly service as well, if I remember rightly. The most of the RhB is an hourly service, bar sort of the curb sort of area up to sort of Lanquart if you go that sort of way. Obviously that's not in the game, but you know that's sort of talking RhB. That's sort of more than more services per hour.
Interesting section we're coming across here. As we're crossing over the next bridge, or you're probably on it as of right now, you can see there's another bridge to the left, which they used previously, but because the rock moved so much down there, it wasn't stable anymore, and they didn't trust it to support the weight of a train. So they built this new bridge besides that, but they didn't feel the need to tear down the other one. So we're basically stuck with 2 bridges side by side.
Yeah,
that is such an amazing piece of scenery, right? It's just there's no reason to remove the old bridge, but we need a new one, so we'll just build another one.
Yeah. They do that everywhere. They do that everywhere in
True.
Switzerland. It's hilarious.
True. Yeah.
And I mean, just for this section of scenery, we've gone across that bridge. You can see the size of the gradient. We've now gone through a tunnel. We're now coming through another bridge, and I'm just about to speed. Oh well, it's only 5 kilometres. We're going over this bridge and then straight through a tiny little tunnel that was blasted through the rock and right through. Isn't that though?
Yeah. That's actually a good visualization of how much elevation we're gaining or losing.
Yeah.
In such a short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was aware I was speeding, sorry. It's only 5 kilometres an hour, it'd be fine.
Yeah, it's 7% though.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it running away at 7%, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I'm expecting someone to do a video of how fast you leave it before you turn the brakes on Bernina. Someone's going to do it. Someone's going to, have a go and see how fast they can get it without touching the brakes.
Question I've seen a couple times now with the announcements. Is that just in the Allegra loco, Jasper, or is that also carried through to the coaches?
I was going to answer that one as well. Yeah, that's a good one. As far as I'm aware, that's only in the Allegra. That's, because of the nature, how the sound works. But I'm not 100% sure on this one, so 95% sure it's only the Allegra, but I'll answer that one later.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that any questions thrown in the chat that we see either towards the end of the stream or in the Q&A thread, we will continue to answer them on the Q&A thread before tidying that up. So if there is anything that you wanted to ask us that we didn't get around to saying, please put it on the Q&A thread on the forums, the Dovetail Live forums, and it's pinned currently in the Train Simulator section.
Yeah, airborne, that would be nice for the ABE 443. I would like that.
true. That's a cool train.
It's very fun. Yeah. Hey, they're all gone now. Sadly, this is the future now. Sadly.
Yeah.
Our concrete cement works there.
A good point, Jasper. What year is this route set in? I don't believe I've looked that up.
It's not an exact. There's not an exact year, but it's around 2020-ish. Yeah. So fairly new. It's like there hasn't been a lot of changes since, I believe, 2020 or sometime before that. Like the last change they did was the one at Poschiavo, where they added new sidings outside the station, and actually rebuilt the entire station as well.
Talking of it, we're now coming into that new section here. This was originally all single track and it was all double, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe we're still at quite an elevation because Poschiavo is about 1,000 meters above sea level, but I believe we're kind of on flat ground at least. We've kind of reached the slower descent. We're still at 7% actually.
7.4 it was there.
Oh, never mind then. It's getting steeper by the
It's getting
second.
steeper, yeah.
But I believe we're past all the climbing sections. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not
Kinda.
quite. Not quite.
There are some more further down. Yeah. It's a bit more even for the next 2 or 3 kilometers, but there are some heavy inclines further down, especially around the Brusio Viaduct. Yeah, just looked it up. Poschiavo has been modernized between 2016 and 19. Yeah, so the route is set after that.
And Amy, thank you for putting that in the chat. So yeah, there is a flatter section around the Poschiavo Lake, but then it's pretty much 7% all the way down to
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, exactly. Like down to Miro Lago is fairly flat, and then it starts to be steep again.
Good question. Auto announcements, will they be on the AI trains if you ride that as a passenger as well?
I believe yes. I need to double check that though. But for how they are triggered, it should work on AI trains as well.
So you can truly have the passenger experience of the route as well.
Yeah. Love the idea about the GE22, which is an old Shanto locomotive that looks really, really cute. But yeah, no plans on any of these as of right now.
These small vintage stock. Jasper, come on.
Yeah. I like these really, really much. But yeah. There's more than me, apparently.
So as we pull in here, I'll remind everyone that the next service we're going to run will be a very quick one, but we're going to rewind time all the way back up to the peak of Ospizio, Bernina, and showcase it all in the snow. So once we've stopped at the location here at Poschiavo Platform 1,
yeah, there's only one.
We'll see what it looks like in the winter.
Yeah, might be worth just flying down the track for 200 meters or so to see the sidings down there.
Yeah.
Just to
There's
people.
a lot of people trying to get on 3 coaches. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
Should have put more coaches on over at Samaritz. There we go. I forgot that doesn't work. That's alright, I've nearly made it. So there we go. So this is, I think these are the original sheds here. These are the original sheds on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then these are the sort of sidings they built. Originally this was single track out, and I think it was a flatter platform. I think there was 2 platforms originally, I think.
Yeah.
But the RhB has been building these, so they have more disabled access, so you'll see a lot of the flatter platforms are now being taken out. So, and if we go down here, so I love the Swiss sound of crossings, they're brilliant. So you then got another high-speed passing loop here. And then there's sidings down here, which I'm guessing are for the Allegras. I'm guessing all passenger stock down here.
Yeah, mostly.
And then we go further down. As you can see, it's flattened out a little bit, and it flattens out a little bit until we get to the bottom of the lake, which is, I don't know if you can see it down, but there's a lake further down here, and then you go back to 7%. So, right, what we're going to do, so we're going to now move on to back to the top, and we'll go and do that, shall we?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Let me just put it on a be right back, and then so I can set it up, and we'll be back in a second.
The brakes, why they wouldn't work when he came to a stop. I explained that earlier, but happy to do it again. That's just in the nature of how dynamic brakes work, because as of when the train comes to lower speed, so I believe it's below 10 kilometers an hour, they just become really ineffective. And so below that, some systems just blend in the air or vacuum brake, and in this train you have to manually use the vacuum brake to bring it to a stop. That's because it seems like the dynamic brake isn't working at lower speeds. Yeah, but they can be used at higher speeds. And they're quite effective at higher speeds. Or higher speeds is anything below 10, 15 kilometers an hour. So going downhill with the dynamic brake is perfectly fine.
What cab is that on the train in the Be Right Back screen? I believe, is this the Train Sim Classic Be Right Back, or is this an old Train Sim World one?
That's Train Sim Classic.
Yeah.
And that's the BR648. That's a German diesel.
Yes, it's a CSC one. Sorry, it's because that's the only one I have. There we go. Sorry about that. I was looking through all the numbers and everything, crunching, and I was like, which one am I going to do? So I've just found one. It's fine.
Yeah, you won't find any leaks here. It's a nice, lovely, calm Bernina Line preview.
Yeah.
Nothing more.
No, that's JD's job.
Yeah. We'll leave that to the professionals.
Here we go. We're hit. So I've done a clear day in the snow, so you can see the lovely sun reflections in the snow. Look at this. So you can see that the lake is completely frozen over. Look at that, look.
Yeah.
And you can see how much of snow it is.
Just look at the mountains. That's one of the parts we're really proud of, because we feel like, or we think they look just really, really good in the snow.
Snow looks, it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the reflection of the sun. It is worth noting, so while we're on the topic of snow, it's worth noting that there was an intentional change made with the snow height. Yeah, so Jasper, do you want to talk a little bit more on why?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few of you have pointed out that there isn't the dynamic snow that we've been, that we saw since TSW4, I believe. And so we had that implemented, but the problem with it is that it's removing a lot of detail that you see in the mountains and what we feel like makes this route so special. So we basically decided against using that to preserve a little bit more detail in the mountains. So yeah, conscious decision against using the dynamic snow.
Also, interestingly, we are pulling freight wagons on this. So a little interesting thing, the RhB do mix their passenger and freight stock together. That's something they do.
Yeah. It's actually quite common.
It is, yeah. We're just turning the taillights on. There you go, look. I have been to Ospizio Bernina in the snow, and I must admit it's quite spectacular.
Actually, Jamie, while we're stopped for a moment, can we get a little view, a little just slower, closer walkthrough of the cab and the coaches as well?
Yes,
just an overview as well. I know there was an ask for an interior walkthrough.
So this is the cab of the Allegra. Then you've got the door through, so you've got the first class here. And also, interestingly, all the tables have a full RhB route map. Which shows
That's a
you the
pretty cool
mountain
detail.
ranges, no, I don't want to give up controls, all the main scenic points with numbers related to where they are. The blue line is the UNESCO World Heritage. Can you see the blue all the way down? That's the UNESCO World Heritage route. So yeah, and it shows you how large the RhB network has done. So you know it's quite a massive network. So that was the first class, and then this is you've got the little doorways here. You've got little seats here, and then this is the second class. It goes all the way through to the other end, and then you've got little step down here. You've got the little disabled area in here, and then you've got everyone's favourite, the toilet. Obviously, that doesn't open. You see, it's actually like there you go. So yeah, I know one thing people will ask is, it's got a working guard panel. Jan.
Nope.
No, not Jan.
Nope.
Jasper, sorry. Oh dear, yes.
Oh, good. No, the guard panel isn't working.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't know if it's meant to be a guard panel in real life. You can change settings such as the interior lights and stuff like that, but it's not that you can control doors from these.
It's a shame we can't use that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Even
And
got
there's a
nice
question
scope.
about. There's been a question about the windows. Yes, you can open them.
Yes, you can. Where are they? Keep them cold in first class. It'd be funny. Right.
And yes, the train does behave different if you're driving it on the AC system, because yeah, there's a different power system, and that's fully simulated. So both the DC and the AC systems are simulated.
Slipping a little bit there.
That's a cool place as well, because in the ride shed there's a little turntable, which I don't know why it's there, but they used that previously. Or
I know exactly why it's there.
Yeah.
I know exactly
Okay.
why it's there. So that's where the steam snowblower was kept.
Ah, okay. And so they used that to turn it around.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the view with the sun and the snow. It is completely different when you have it in
Yeah.
snow, which is really lovely.
Yeah. I think that's what makes this route so interesting. It looks different in every season, because in August it's all very brown reddish when the autumn kicks in, and then yeah, winter's obviously just stunning for the amount of snow and ice, and yeah, just gives it a totally different look. And then again, spring and summer look different as well, with all being green and yeah, grayish from all the stone. So yeah, I think there are really 3 main seasons to discover, which is pretty cool.
If you're watching now, we will be jumping over to Tirano to work upwards, but we are going to at least head to Grüm so that we can see the glacier and kind of see the full scenic overview, which won't take us too long. It's really just, I believe, what is that, 3 kilometers or so?
It's
Yeah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes will be there.
And
Probably a
then
little
yeah,
bit.
so after that,
Probably a bit quicker because I'm speeding, but hey. But yeah.
there you go. But yes, of course, if you want any more information about the route, you can pre-order now on Steam, and again, check the chat out for our coming soon article as well. We've got a mention of, can we try the SiSte real quick?
That's the Shift Enter keyboard combo if you're into it, Jamie, and then just using Q to
What's that
say
for?
that.
Sorry.
That's the vigilance system.
Oh, I
the
see.
system.
Right. What have I got to do?
Press Shift and Enter to enable it, and then press Q to confirm.
Yeah, seems to be okay at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll stay in the cab so it doesn't goes bleep at me. Oh, blimey, I'm speeding.
And because there's a question where they can be enabled in the cab. They can't be enabled in the cab, which is just because you can't disable them in real life. Or it's hidden away after some locked cabinets. So the way to enable and disable is using the common shortcuts. Yes, the screens in the cab do have functions, so you can change destination and train type on the one to the left, the little blue one, and you can see information about the train, like how much energy it's pulling and which pantograph it's using as of right now in the right one.
You see it as pantographs actually showing in there.
Yeah, and that will change if you put the other ones up, and the indicator for the direction is changing as well.
Oh, that's it. Look at that. So in the snow, it can't handle just it on its. There we go. Look at that. Come on.
Yeah,
come
so
on.
you need to apply a little bit of the train brake to get it behaving again.
Goes.
Yeah.
Come on. Bring the power back down a little bit.
And Nigel, yes, the spiral viaduct at Brusio will be starting from Tirano and passing through Brusio very shortly. So that's coming up. We'll switch back to the clear sunny time, and we can always do a quick showcase of Tirano again in the snow, just to see it as well afterwards. But it's mostly just for more for stream clarity and being able to see more of the environment as well. Not that the snow doesn't look absolutely stunning.
Because that question have come up a few times now. Bringing this tag back on Arosa isn't as simple as just putting it in there. If it was, we would have done that by now probably. But there's way more to the progress of that because you build onto the terrain. So yeah. That's a difficult thing to do. The trains announcements are fully automatic, so you don't have to press any button. Okay, someone in the chat already answered that. Thanks.
We've got a question here of why is the wheel spinning, and I'm going to just ask, I believe this is because of the snow that we've got on now reducing the friction. Is that correct?
It is indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously because of the colder weather and the snow, it will reduce the friction on the track, and therefore you'll get more wheel slip. So it's more perilous.
There
and
you go.
more
Sorted itself out now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not doing that all the time.
It's because I had to touch the brakes a little bit more. I think it's probably the wagons pushing us a little bit heavy.
Yeah. There's a question for the cab light if you're into that. That's to the left of the desk.
Yeah. I'll make sure I stop and don't overrun here.
You don't really need the cab light because if you've got passenger lighting turned on, that will just give you a nice warm glow in the cab.
Yes, but just to check with console players and activating safety systems, then is there alternate ways of doing that without keyboard keybind?
I have to confess I'm not a console player, to be honest. I was thinking there's a way you can enable these in the settings.
It might be
But,
something we can answer on the Q&A thread tomorrow morning when we get around to answering that after tonight's stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not too shabby.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this, look.
Yes, there's a way to control the tram more manually. Just set the cruise control to a higher speed and then regulate brakes yourself. That gives you a lot more to do.
And here we go, the winter scenery in its peak glory.
Yeah.
And you see that the snow is right up to the track level, which it would be, as well. Look at that.
Yeah. And yes, you can put down the blinds in the train. That's working.
Yeah, there you go. Blinds are there you go. Just in case you don't want anybody being nosy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can walk all the way down here. Here we go. This is what you were saying, weren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. You can go in there for quite a bit, like down to the next passing loop. So yeah, got a little bit to explore there.
We'll just walk down to where the track level is down there, shall we?
Oh, yeah. No, you have to turn left before that.
Okay.
Oh no, you're still right. Never mind. Sorry.
And then you walk across, so that's where the track was down there, and you can see that it carries on. Look at that. That's so cool. Love these little crossing signs. I nearly bought one of these when I went to a railway
Hmm.
in Switzerland, but then I couldn't get it through customs, so there you go. Right.
A lovely view of the scenery.
Yeah.
Right, so next up, well, let's start off in Tirano. The snow is beautiful, but it's going away for a little bit. Back to the sunshine and the clear views. So we're going to start off at Tirano. We're going to work our way up, and then after that we'll do a bit of a nighttime showcase. We'll also showcase the observational coach from the RhB anniversary pack that does layer on, and then a little bit of free roam on Arosa Line with the dual voltage showcase for the Allegra as well.
Yep.
And again, that will be a free roam edition. And that's it. That's the kind of plan for the rest of the stream. So obviously hang around. But let's switch over to starting in Tirano.
Yeah, I'll put it on the Be Right Back.
Jamie, see, you're a professional at this. The whole point is that we're meant to showcase the dev build.
For the announcements, you should have been able to hear them. They were in, yeah, just as we came down into our Grüm station, there was one announcement.
And we should be able to hear them when we start off in Tirano again. Will it do the?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. There's like an introduction that welcomes you on board and basically just tells you that if you have any questions, the train crew is there for you.
Enrique, can you go to Tirano? Well, actually, we're going there right now.
We are on our
starting
way.
Tirano.
We are on our way.
Yeah, we have a lot more to showcase. So whether we make it back up to Poschiavo, I think we'll probably stop at around Miralargo, and then we'll move on to nighttime showcase and some of the other showcases because we still want to do more showcases as well. In terms of actually showcasing the full route, as I did mention, there will be ambassadors that upload full upload route showcases as well. So if you did want to see that last bit between, say, Miralargo and Poschiavo, then you'll be able to find content on that as well. So here we are.
Right. I've got to put the key in.
Bei Fragen stehen wir Ihnen gerne zur Verfügung.
Allegra, signore e signori.
I'll try to check on why that train is at the very end of the platform.
That was something I was going to say because
That looks weird.
Yeah, they would normally be
Yeah.
sort of like down here, wouldn't they? They'd actually shunt all the way
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But this is so we've got a standard gauge over this side. You can actually walk through here quite a bit, can't you? As well, that was one interesting thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there you go. You know, if you needed to pick up another coach, you can do. So you can tell we're in Italy now. the doors in a minute. Hang on, they're still walking up to the train. I don't even think the passengers have made it that far yet. Come on! Don't stand about, come on! Gotta be screaming at them. Let's have a quick walk while they're coming up the thing, shall we? And we can show you a bit more of the station while they walk up to our train. They should be running at this point.
So for anyone watching, we are in Italy at the moment. So we're just before the border crossing into Switzerland. And kind of as part of that, on the collectibles, you can find Italian-themed pizza across the route. And to kind of tie in the Swiss part of the route, you can find distinct Alpine hats as well. So there's a bit of a marriage of both because of the border crossing.
Let's just see if we can find any... yeah, they're coming along.
The interesting story about this being Italy is that, to be 100% exact, the train station actually isn't, because the border is just south of Campasco, and so you're running down into here on Swiss terrain basically, and then just you can't do what we've been doing right now, walk outside the station, but you have to go through the stations, which then has a customs office, and you're officially entering Italy the moment you're leaving the platform. But up until here, you're technically in Switzerland, although you're driving on Italian ground, which is just
It's
random
Italy
story.
at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes another one. I've eaten 2 pizzas, but there you go, never mind. And I found another route map. So as you can see, you can walk quite a way around it.
Yeah, and we spent some extra time around here just to detail the scenery, so you have something to look at. There's a reason why grass shows through the snow. We explained that earlier. It's basically there was a conscious decision of why we weren't using the dynamic snow height, because it covers up quite a lot of detail in the mountains that wasn't looking the way we wanted it to look. So we tried it with that, and then did the conscious decision that we want to have the higher detailed mountains. So yeah, that's why you will see not as much snow as you'll see on other routes. Or it's not building up.
I left them all that time and they didn't even get in. Cheeky devils. Lovely of them. All I do for people. Right, let's get in the train. We'll leave without them. Ha.
There's a bit of the standard gauge track modeled in Tirano, but I don't think you can get there.
Oh, it would help if I put it in forwards, wouldn't it? That normally helps. There we go. And we're off.
Yes, cool vibes. This route is available on all the platforms that we currently support, which would include Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series S and X, PlayStation 5, PC, Steam, and Epic. And it releases January 16th. So that's in... how many days is the weekend? 2 days? 5 days.
It's 5 days, yeah.
5 days time, but you can pre-order now if you are on Steam platforms.
Yeah.
Can you showcase the train announcements in the cab? We have done a couple times I Love Trains. If you want to, so there should be automatic announcements as we go, but if you want to recatch the announcements we shared earlier, I'd recommend maybe whizzing back the stream. If you're watching on Twitch, you won't be able to do that, but if you come over and watch on YouTube, take it back to when we first started our first showcase, which will be around the 10-15 minute or so mark, and we showcase the full announcement in its full glory in English, Italian, and German. You can watch it there.
Yeah, I've noted that signal. That looked very dead. So this is the famous tram section at Tirano, where your train actually drives under the laws of being a tram, which are different from just being an actual railway. So that's quite interesting. And it's a very unique section as well. And to make that work properly, we implemented a new system of how the train interacts with cars. So the moment you enter the street section, it will actually stop traffic for as long as you're going through there. And once you've cleared it, you'll see that the cars start driving again. Because that's something that isn't fully supported yet. We had to build our own solution, which is what you can see here now.
Speaking of, Mikey in the chat, the question of the PIS saying Ospizio, it's also something that came up in our Q&A thread. So there's kind of two natural reasons why it says that. The first is the more technical reason, and is that the actual PIS display itself from the back-end technical point of view, it just displays the destination at the end point of the service, which in this case, because the route goes from Tirano to Ospizio Bernina, it would show Ospizio. So that's part of the reason why. And again, because that's the section of route that this route is, it makes sense that that's the logical endpoint displayed on the PIS there as well. Even though trains in real life wouldn't display that for this section of routes, obviously that's where the natural endpoint is.
Yeah.
Nicer, I don't know.
I mean, it's quite a gradient here as well, even for the cars at 3.4%.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the system is the system to handle the traffic between trains and cars is different from the one on the Arosa line. We've learned a lot since then, so yeah. They shouldn't interfere with each other.
Oh, I can, thank you. Someone said I can drive at 25 kilometres an hour. I was like, oh, hold on, pardon. There we go.
Yes, but I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but can you couple the two Allegras together?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Yep.
There's even a free
That's
roam
actually...
one. There's a free roam one.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
You can put two together in a free roam, so yeah, you're all good.
Yeah. I think you can, in real life, you can couple up to 4 trains or so.
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, on that, as a side note, if you want to see an absolutely disastrous and monstrous coupling, Jan for our Xmas free roam fun event did an absolutely horrendous coupling of trains together. He did 4 Vectrons, I believe.
But it wasn't as good as my one on TSC, where I put loads and loads of Allegras together to recreate the RhB Capricorn competition that they did, where they tried to make the longest passenger train in the world.
Yes. I remember you showing me that image actually of where you can see it snaking all the way down the valley. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I thought you were going to refer to the big event at RhB.
Yeah. With the Capricorns, yeah.
I think they actually were successful with building the longest train, or coupling together the longest train in the world.
Yeah.
I've been corrected that there were actually 9 Vectrons. I've severely underestimated Jan's creation. There were 9, and it was horrendous. And 1 freight wagon because it was extra fun.
I just stuck an image into the chat where you can see the train through various layers and bridges going up the hill, which is just really, really cool. That was from the Guinness World Record.
Yeah. That's right, Amy, because I noticed that the reason why a lot of the locos are being getting rid of, or the vintage stock that is currently running now, is they're going totally BIS auto-couplers. You'll probably see things like these, like the Allegras, start to be converted to BSIs. eventually. And I think some of the G442s and G443s, eventually they want to also convert with BIS. Some of them, they're not going to do all of them, but some of them. So it will all be BIS compatible. We've got a train waiting for us. No surprise because we're running 2 minutes late. It's Switzerland. Trains always run on time in Switzerland, unlike me.
Just to mention, we're going to keep the tonight's stream conversation really just around obviously the Bernina Line preview. Anything upcoming we'll discuss around February time with the roadmap. So.
And yes, I noted these couplers. I don't know what they did there, but yeah.
Use the hill to slow us down. That'll do that. The other train's already left. He's annoyed with me. There we go. And you've got this post bus, the Swiss post buses. And they're lovely yellow and red. Oh, I found another one. Oh, I can't eat that one. Never mind. I'll have to get that one later. Oh, there's another hat. There's another hat. And another pizza. God, you can fill yourself up on pizza on this route, I tell you. You'll be bloated by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know about sitting with that amount of pizza in your stomach at 7% incline for an hour.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Oh, hello. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Put it into reverse. There we go. Right.
As we climb up now, just in case there's been someone that has joined in our stream a little later or maybe in the last 5 minutes or so, let's do a full summary, shall we? So we are showcasing the Berninalinie Tirano to Ospizio Bernina route, which is a Swiss route with an Italian border crossing in Tirano. So we've just come from Tirano. We're currently on our way up to Miralago, which is a station a bit further up, and we will of course be able to showcase the Brusio Viaduct as well. Coming up, we'll have a nighttime showcase. We'll showcase the observational coach as well from the RhB anniversary pack, and then do a little bit of free roam dual voltage fun on Arosa Line as well. So if you are interested in the route and more details, you can check out the description where there is a link to our coming soon article. You can pre-order if you're on Steam for a 10% discount now. I believe that's it. The admin hat is almost coming off. The release date is Tuesday, January 16th, so in 5 days. And Jamie, you've been an absolute fantastic driver so far. We've had no emergency stops, unlike Mr. Pedalston, which may have had one or two.
Don't talk it up yet. We haven't finished the stream just yet. God dear, oh dear. But yeah.
Let's do a little bit of data. So the route length is 38 kilometers. The route height, however, goes from about 400 meters above sea level to 2,253. The 3 is important if you're curious. We talk a bit about that near the start of the stream. It's 12 stations, and the rolling stock includes what we're looking at here, which is the ABe 812 Allegra EMU. It also has the EW1 A and B coaches. There's also a new RhB ZA tank wagon and the SPW timber wagon as well. So again, loads of details in our coming soon article. But we're climbing the steepest gradient in train sim world at 7% right now, and yeah, we're on our way to. Currently, where are we at? The next station will be Brusio, so we should be coming up to that viaduct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have gone a little bit faster there, but never mind. I was enjoying the scenery. This is the thing. You take it so steadily, but you enjoy the scenery so much you can't even remember what speed you're supposed to be doing. So there we go. I'll put it up a little bit. I noticed Amy has said, interestingly, the Arosa, so the Allegras are going to be taken off Arosa because they've got rid of some of the Bernina Line stock now, and they're going to put the G442s back on Arosa. So that's going to be interesting, because that hasn't happened for years.
on the Campocologno yard, yes, you can access that, which allows you to have a little bit more fun around the yard there and shunt some wagons. Yeah, you'll actually do that in, I think, 2 of the scenarios, where you can definitely do that in free roam as well.
Did I
So, yeah.
forget to request stop? Did I have a request stop? No, I didn't. That's alright. Whew. I thought I had a request stop for a minute there.
Yeah.
And Connor, you ask how much does it cost? So this will be the standard route pricing. So 35.99 euros, 29.99 pounds, and 39.99 US dollars. And again, if you are on the Steam platform, you can pre-order for a 10% discount. There is a link to that in the description.
We're really climbing now. We're about to get to the most spectacular section of the whole Bernina Line. Set that to 13. Here it comes. Set it to 30. And here we are, one of the most famous sections of the Bernina Line.
Let's get a good aerial shot of this.
Let me see if I can get higher. There we go, that's better. Look at this. See if I can get, there we go, that's better. Here we come. We're now making the curve. It's amazing how much height you gain just by doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is just a fantastic piece along this route. It looks really, really good.
This is like a model railway kind of piece of track but in real life.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Absolutely.
And as you can see now, you'll probably see where the track slightly curves away. There was an avalanche, you'll see all the rock here. There was actually a rock slide, so they had to realign the track work here.
Yeah.
So there we go. And we're still climbing.
I suppose that's an interesting question. I don't know if you know more, Jamie, from your knowledge of the route, or yourself, Jasper, but is there quite a lot of maintenance that comes along with the mountainous scenario, say avalanches, landslides and so on?
Oh big time. I must admit, the RhB, I mean, when you see like the track work as clean as it is that clean in real life. I mean, I've never seen the amount of maintenance and the amount of upgrades the RhB has had in even the amount of time I've stayed over there and come over. So I've been to Switzerland 3 times, and even in the 3 times I've been there, the amount of changes is just amazing. The Swiss are so, their maintenance and upkeep of routes in general is far reached than quite a few countries.
I mean, it comes with the nature of, especially a route like this, especially in winter. There are some interesting cab rides on YouTube that I definitely recommend watching, where you can see that, for example, they have little huts along junctions where sometimes there's a worker who's taking care of the junction. I'm sure they have a heating system for these, but there's still someone taking care of them. And then all the buildings, they have to protect the track from snow and rockfall and whatnot. So they definitely do invest a lot of money into making this railway safe. This was actually one of the reasons why it always or almost went bankrupt in its early days because the cost of operation was really, really high, and they had to do a lot of improvements. And by the time RhB bought the Bernina Line company, they did quite a few changes to the track, especially up at Ospizio, where they changed the position of the track because it was more towards the edge, which gave the passengers a nice view, but it also meant that yeah, it was way riskier and yeah,
A nice
maintenance
view at a
cost
cost.
was higher. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, lock our doors now.
Interesting story about the signals as well. You might have noticed that there's at most station only one exit signal, and you have this board in front of the cab, which is having a number on top, and then there's this like triangle on a white plate below that. Jamie, I'm sure you can hop back into the cab so we can see one just to the front of the train. And the way these work is that they have shared exit signals, which you only leave the station if the exit signal is showing the aspect according to the number on the plate. So, for example, we have a 1 here, so that means the signal needs to show the 1 aspect for our train to leave. So it would be showing the 2 aspect. You would need to be on platform 2, where there's a little 2 on the board for being able to leave. So that's how they handle these exit signals, which is a very unique way. I don't think there's any other country in the world that does it like this. And I think it's even RhB prototypical.
Yeah. It's something I've noticed because and also it's not all the RhB, certain sections of the RhB as well.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting. I think the
Yeah, so
drivers have to learn quite a lot of different route knowledge to know the area. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
A massive church on the top here, though.
So I think as we're climbing now, and as we're approaching the church that you pointed out, it's about time we kind of had our plan for the nighttime showcase. So we'll probably switch into that now. Part of the reason is because obviously this is quite a long route to run. We do want to respect Jasper for being our guest on the stream as well, so thank you very much. We want to respect your time. But for anyone that does want to see a full length of the route prior to the release, of course there will be ambassador content coming out on Monday. Again, this is prior to the release on Tuesday that you can watch if you want to see the full run of the route as well.
Yeah.
But for now, let's switch it over. So we're going to start in Tirano, and we're going to showcase it in nighttime for about 10 minutes. Shortly after that, we'll do an observational coach showcase. Again, that's using the anniversary pack. And then we'll do some free roam dual voltage fun. So we've got about another half an hour streaming.
Yeah.
But for now, we're gonna switch off the mainline run and showcase it in nighttime.
Right. Let me put it back to my usual screen. I'll be back.
Yeah. On the request stops, I've seen that question a couple times now. There's no change from the system that we had on Arosa, so as of with the way that it works behind the scenes, it's not possible to implement a system that handles request stop because it would be in the nature of these in real life that some trains would stop there and some would not, just depending on if a player or if a passenger actually pressed the stop button. So the answer to that is no, these aren't in use as of right now. You can press the hold button on the train. So if you're on the train and you want to get off, you can press a button there and it will light a little lamp next to the open and close door buttons. But it has no use besides that.
Das Zugteam der Rätischen Bahn begrüßt Sie im Regionalzug nach Campo Cologno, Campascio, Brusio,
Mira Lago.
Oh, I've got to
Le
find
Prese,
where is the
Kurt,
passenger light switch.
Poschiavo und wünscht eine angenehme Reise.
Yeah,
Bei
there.
Fragen
Found it
stehen Sie
straight
Ihnen
away,
gerne
as
zur
if by
Verfügung.
magic.
Allegra.
That's what I meant with
Signore,
you don't really need the cab light. It is there, but sort of like the light from the passenger lighting gives you a nice glow in the cab.
Yeah. So the light's quite bright because we've got LEDs.
Yeah.
Pascio. Brusio. Mira
Yes, you can
Lago.
change the brightness of
Le
the dials.
Kurt,
There's right
Poschiavo,
next to the
and wishes you a pleasant journey.
yeah,
If you have any
exactly
questions,
there.
the train crew will
Yeah,
be happy
you can
to answer
interchange
all.
instrument lighting, and there are two smaller light sources for the timetable there, which you can turn to your liking as well. Yeah.
It's probably a bit too bright then. Let's bring it down a bit. Okay. Yeah, cab light is there. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Just got to wait for these doors, and I'll lock them now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Timed perfectly. Oh, I've done it again. Oh, there we go. Didn't put it in forwards. I'm getting worse with this driving, I tell you.
Yeah, Jamie, you're a bit tired from all the pizza, I suppose.
Probably, I imagine so. I'm not even keen on pizza, so there you go.
You're not keen on pizza?
No, not really.
Oh. Oh.
I mean, you can, so if you didn't want those lights, you could just do, in theory, there's the other blind. Come on.
Mm.
There you go. But you still get a little bit reflecting.
Yeah. You could make this very controversial by asking if pineapple on pizza is a good thing or not.
Oh, no. Chat, go on. Yeah, I mean, TSC, we're always talking about food. So come on, TSW guys, come on, talk about some food. We've got some pizza on here, so...
You know, if we added that as if the pizza collectible in this route was actually a pineapple on pizza, I would reckon there's some players that would actively avoid to not collect them.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the reaction I was thinking of when I asked that pineapple question.
You can see it does look good at night. And we've got 3 cars on the back, so we're running a 6 set.
Yeah.
It's going nuts.
Pineapple on pizza with hot toppings like jalapenos. That's a bold decision. Yeah, anyway, enough of food.
Has everybody finished their Christmas chocolates yet? That's another one. I still haven't finished mine yet.
No, me neither.
The key there is to continue buying more and just keep saying it's pretty much Christmas and don't stop, and then you have some for next year and it just goes on. But there you go.
Is it only a German thing, or do these sweets become available like by the end of, or even the start of September in the UK as well?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
I think to me this year was the first year where the retailers decided to say we're going before Halloween. Usually there's a hard stop before, like, Halloween happens, then it's Christmas period. But no, this year it was we're going whenever we want. We don't care what's in the way.
It was
Yeah, it was
literally like
supposed to be like the.
we get Easter
Yeah.
stuff on Boxing Day.
Oh wow, okay.
That's how mad it is in the UK sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not as hard here in Germany, but you'll definitely get Christmas sweets before Halloween by now. But I haven't seen any Easter stuff, to be honest. So we'll see.
So yeah, as you can see at night, and then obviously as we come out, you can see we're now just running on the. Hello, I've not got enough power down. Okay. It's a freaking beast. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, but you can see, and I've also got some autumnal trees on. There you go. So you can see the autumnal trees. But it does make it. It's quite interesting because the Bernina line doesn't actually run that late. So this is. One of the last services actually that goes all the way, which is about 7 o'clock at night. It's it's quite interesting seeing it. You get this sort of like haze across the mountains where you can see the stars. I think that's quite really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's about pretty much where we'll go with our nighttime showcase as well, because obviously we won't run the full route. If we did the full route for every showcase, we'd be here for I think about 8 hours.
Yeah, we would be. Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll switch over now to a bit of a showcase of the observational coach from the RhB anniversary pack. And part of the reason why is because it does layer onto Bernina Line. You need to own the RhB anniversary pack. I've seen there have been mentions. I know players have pointed out that actually from real life it probably wouldn't be on the routes, but it has been included, and partly to include additional value to people who A, own the RhB anniversary pack, and B, own Bernina as well. So. And then shortly after we've got we'll do the showcase of the observational coach, and then a little bit on Arosa Line with some free roam to showcase the dual voltage capability as well. And then we'll wrap up. I hope you have enjoyed. Again, if you are recently joining us in the last 5-10 minutes, or if you just joined in now, you can rewind time, you can watch back the preview if you'd want, or you can watch it back at a later point as well. But additionally, you will see some ambassador content videos coming up at the start of next week, prior to the release as well. And we hope you've enjoyed it. Jasper, you've been an absolutely fantastic guest. I'll say this now, we're not wrapping up just yet, but you've been absolutely amazing answering questions.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I really do enjoy doing these kind of streams and interact with you and the community. It's just, that's really cool.
And of course, Jamie, despite you're almost having almost no issues at all driving, which is rare for a preview. You've been a brilliant driver as well.
Cheeky devil. It's going well. So this is obviously you've got the observation car. Now, in general terms, what they would normally do is this is the more extended car that we'd use on sort of the Buller, the Arosa, and a couple of other barns. The four-wheelers are the ones that they use, but as Alex pointed out, to give you more of a, at least give you an idea of what they would do in the summer. I have actually been on the Bernina Line in one of these. It's quite fun. You'll have this plus about 5 or 6 coaches, and then this in the end. So that's to show you that it does definitely add into that, and you can drive along and actually sit in it. So if I go back into one, I should be able to go down and sit in it, I think. And then we can go and quickly just then go on to Arosa, and then we can there you go. I'm sure if there's a spare seat, God, everybody need to see. Typical, isn't it? There you go, there's one. Sorry everybody, you have to stare at me. So yes, but yeah, it's quite different, and I've forgotten that I think the four-wheel coaches don't even have a roof. I think they're actually, the four-wheel ones don't have a roof like this. They're just, you know, if they want a roof, they put tarpaulin on it. So there we go, and then you can actually, in theory, you can do this as well. Ta-da! So if you get cold, you can go in there. But there we go. Right, let's go on to Arosa, and I can show you how to change voltage.
There's a question on if there are any scenarios with the observation coach. No, because you need to earn the Arosa anniversary pack for that wagon. So because we want all the players who buy the route to be able to play all scenarios. No, it's not coming up there.
There we go. We're back in. Give us 2 minutes. More game loads. Chat, what are you thinking so far? Are you impressed? You like the route? I must admit, I do like it. It's a bit of fun. Here we are. So we're in Arosa.
Actually, we might briefly want to explain why we need to do that. The Bernina Bahn was built as a separate company, so the RhB wasn't existing back then. So it was a bunch of different companies building their own railways, and they later got merged into the RhB. But that results in different specifications for trains and the routes themselves. So that's why the Bernina Bahn has a different electrification system than the rest of the RhB network does. So that's why modern trains like this, who need to run on both of these lines, do need to support both electrification systems.
Just because I felt like it. So what you need to do is you notice now, so yes, you've got, these are the Bernina Line pantographs. You've got the two at either end. And what we'll do is we'll jump in the carriage on the other side. So what you need to do is come in here, you need to turn your master key on, and then you'll see you've got the two pantographs. You've got front and rear DC. And all you do is you just click the middle one, and you'll see it's changed on the screen. So you've got the A and the B now, and then if I just sit back in the seat, there you go, you'll see that just the middle pantograph is now up. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just set myself a route. We'll go street running to the next bit of the file. Set the speed restriction down. So yeah, and it's as simple as that, really. It's quite easy to get the unit running. You know, it's quite a simple little bit of change. I'm just going to turn the headlights. That's because I haven't got enough power down. No wonder I'm going slow. Oh, that's better. Actually, that's
They're
a point.
known.
I need to change the destination. Have we got? Can you set the destination? That's a point to
Yes.
Arosa. Yeah. So what's the
Yes.
destination? Do you know?
The codes aren't in, I believe, but you can click through these. Like there's the next destination button, the blue
Oh,
one
I
at the
see.
top, so you can cycle through them.
Bernina, Ospizio, Bernina, Grüm, Bernina Express, Brusio, Malaga, Viaduct.
And Jasper, just to
Okay,
just to
so
say it
there
again for
it is.
anyone joining us in now, I really liked your description of why there's dual voltage and really what the difference is from before. Would you grace us so kindly to kind of reiterate that again?
Sure, yeah. So the nature of the RhB is that back when all these routes were built, the RhB as one company didn't exist. So there was a bunch of companies, and each one did their own stuff and built their own route. And so they at some point settled for different systems. So Bernina is the one where they decided to go with a different electrification system. I'm sure there's a technical reason behind that, which I'm not 100% familiar with, but basically then the RhB bought these routes and companies and merged them into one single one. But they've never changed the electrification on Bernina. So if you want to have a modern train that's able to run on both the Arosa Line, the other, basically the rest of the RhB network and the Bernina barn, you need to have one that's supporting multiple voltages. And that's the reason for the dual voltage system on the Allegra. And if you're interested, it's actually fully simulated. So there are two simulgraph setups to fully represent that change in power. Oh yeah, okay. Bernina was the first one electrified. Yeah, true. I believe that has something to do with the availability of coal in the World War.
It was, yes, yeah. That's exactly
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of history behind these routes. Pretty interesting if you're into it.
That is really interesting. Again, like it's kind of interesting to think about how, you know, the world climates and kind of the state of the world as well has different effects on even the world we live in today, as of course as history does. But again, it's interesting to know why.
Yeah.
There we go. I think we're pretty much there.
I think we are. We've done a really good job trying to showcase as much as we can. We have been streaming for I think a little over 2 hours now. So I think for
Let me put
everyone
my
who's still
cameras
watching,
back on. Let me see our
yes,
faces. Hold on.
Yeah, sounds good.
For everyone still watching, thank you for sticking with us. And of course, if you're watching after the fact, that's also brilliant too as well. But for this showcase, we're going to end there. As a summary, that was the Berninalinie, Tirano to Ospizio Bernina, the Swiss route with the Italian border crossing, as I like to call it. So you can pre-order that now. If you pre-order through Steam, it's a 10% discount. And that will cost you €35.99, €29.99 Great British pounds, and $39.99 US dollars. So that comes out Tuesday, January 16th, and you'll be able to see a few ambassador previews from Monday, January 15th as well. So you can get a little bit more content just before it launches as well. All of the information you want to see, check out the YouTube video description or our Forums Dovetail Live article announcements channel, or the Dovetail Live website. You'll find loads of it there. Continue the communication with us on the forums. If there's any last questions you want us to answer before tomorrow, we'll be checking through the Q&A thread on the forums. But that's it. All of that admin all in one go. But thank you really for joining us. Jasper, I want to just say you've been an absolutely amazing guest host. You've answered loads of questions. Really just, you've been a wonder to have on the stream tonight.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's been a pleasure. Just was really, really cool being back at one of these streams and being able to show off what we were working on for the last year or so. So yeah, really happy with that. Really happy with the reactions from the community. Really happy with the feedbacks and the question I've got. So yeah, big thanks to you guys for driving and taking care of all the admin stuff. And on the same note, to the community for being here with us and spending the evening.
And Jamie, you've been an absolutely brilliant driver, a wonderful host. So thank you to you too, and thank you to everyone joining us tonight. So that'll do us. Have a brilliant evening, and again, Bernina Line comes out Tuesday, January 16th, 10 a.m. for consoles, and 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. on Steam for PC players as well. So
yeah, and don't forget it's Meter Gauge week as well. this week. So if you're TSC fan as well, you've got TSC Brocken Barn also released this week. So we're doing sort of a celebration for meter gauge. So we got 2 meter gauge routes in 1 week, which is quite mad. If you've got both games, it's quite fantastic. So definitely check that out as well. But yeah, no, hope you enjoyed the route for sure.
That's it. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye bye.